Hello everyone, my name is Kiva and I teach people how to achieve the luxe look for less. In today's video, I'm giving you 7 tips on how to instantly make your home look luxurious. That's right, if you implement these few steps, your house is going to be so elevated, and guess what? It's not going to cost you a lot of money. Before we get into today's video, please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and check me out on Instagram. And I do want to thank Cricut for sponsoring today's video, but I'll tell you a little bit more about them a little later on. Let's get into it. The first way to instantly make your home look luxurious is to swap out the lighting. And I don't mean swap out a warm light bulb for a cool light bulb. That's fun, but it's not fun enough. What I mean is that you need to swap out your recessed lighting, your boob lighting, your boring contractor grade lighting for chandeliers. And you're like, Kiva, a chandelier, they are so expensive. Yes, if you're buying a chandelier that's 12 feet long by 12 feet long, yes, it is very, very expensive. It is very expensive, and I have no tips for you. But for most spaces, if you're in a studio apartment, if you're in a normal house, we don't need a massive chandelier. We need a pretty standard size one that's 36 inches, 48 inches, even 26 inches. And that means that these cost $100, $200, $300 on websites like Amazon, Wayfair, on Modern. They have chandeliers across all of these websites, and they're actually very, very accessible to us. So we're swapping out these chandeliers because they add just an air of grandeur, right? When you walk into a foyer and you see a massive chandelier and it has the crystals or the Sputnik or the globes, you're like, oh wow. It looks very refined. You're not just relying on that recessed lighting. It looks like there was some thought put into the design. And that is a major feature of luxury design. Everything is really, really well thought out. Everything is done with intention. So adding lighting up there also shows intention. A main reason why we also want to add the chandelier is that it reflects our design style. A lot of the time we keep our design very flat. We show our design via a sofa, our coffee tables, our planters, but all those things are on the floor. What about all the way up? Sure, some of us have larger artwork that extends towards the top of the ceiling, but not everyone does. So your design kind of just like stops at like 5 or 6 feet, but most ceilings are 9 feet or even taller. What are we doing up there? To tie in your design style in every inch of the home, we want to add some lighting up above. And again, the best way to do that is with a chandelier. So if you're into contemporary design or modern design, you perhaps add a Sputnik. If you're into Art Deco, maybe you'll add a dome. If you are into really traditional design, maybe you'll add a crystalline chandelier. If you're into farmhouse, then you'll add a candlestick chandelier. There are chandeliers for every single design style, and they help solidify your design style. And we're not just talking chandeliers, we're also talking pendants over your island, light fixtures in your bathroom. Switching out these light fixtures just makes your space looks so grand, and it ties in your style. And having a uniform home, as you will see later in this video, is paramount to have a luxurious looking home. So just swap these out. They're really easy to do independently. They gave really, really good instructions on the back of these materials, but you can also hire out an electrician. I promise you it will be worth the investment. But since you're only going to spend $100 or $200 on the chandelier to begin with, this is a really, really affordable way to elevate your home, and it's going to instantly look luxurious. I promise you that. The next way to instantly make your home look luxurious is to get your organization and storage together. So what does that mean? There has never been a luxurious looking home that was covered in mess. Maybe in like an Art Deco is like a messy installation, but being clean is associated with luxury. Being clean is associated with something looking good. You know that that's true. We all agree on that. That is a universal. So it's not that easy though, right? You're like, okay, Kiva, I've crafted this beautiful room, but where do I put this? Where do I put that? Where do I put the Legos? You know, we need to get over this idea that our design is going to be impractical, and that's something that we all struggle with. So we need to come up with storage solutions and organization solutions that actually work for us. What I've actually done recently is I did a total inventory of my kitchen because it was a mess. I was rebuying the same spices over and over again. I'm telling you, I had 3 different full bottles of cinnamon, and then I went out and bought another one. I just wasn't doing an inventory of my space and it was looking cluttered. So this kitchen that I poured so much effort into, so much money into trying to make it look sophisticated, it was all for naught because it was always a mess. But luckily I came up with a storage system that worked for me, and now it looked very high-end and luxurious and refined. And the way I did that actually is by using my Cricut Explore Air 2, and that's why I want to thank Cricut for sponsoring today's video. If you're not familiar with Cricut, Cricut is a brand that creates all of these amazing DIY tools that just help us get our lives together. So the Cricut Explore Air 2 works on 100 plus materials, including cardstock, vinyl, construction paper, leather, poster board, and so much more. I love the Cricut Explore Air 2 because it helped me get my kitchen in order. What I did is I used Explore Air 2 in conjunction with the Cricut Design Space, which you can use on your phone or on your desktop computer. And what I did is I designed my labels really easily using some Cricut fonts. I clicked Make It and I was able to print out my labels. And I'm telling you, the whole process was done in under 15 minutes, from setting up my Explore Air 2 to figuring out how to use it and getting my labels printed. I wanted to go with a glossy black vinyl because it just looked really streamlined and refined with my other decor, since my kitchen is very black and contemporary. I wanted to keep that up, and I wanted to have an organization system that actually worked with my design style. I didn't want something too farmhouse or too something like that, because then it just kind of made me feel uncomfortable and I knew that I wasn't going to use it. And within 30 minutes, I had a totally renovated kitchen. I'm telling you guys, I've been cooking, I've been cleaning more, I feel on top of the world because I have an organization system now that works for me. And you can actually recreate my own project using the link down below. I will link you to all the materials I use and my actual project, so you can make your own using the Cricut Explore Air 2. And there's a link down below that I encourage you to click on to purchase your own Explore Air 2. And I'm telling you, you can use this for a variety of projects. You can customize your home decor, which is the most exciting thing for me, because I am a DIY home decor channel. So it's all about making things yours. You can get a $1 t-shirt or $1 poster board or $2 cardstock from the dollar store, and you can elevate it so much. You can use it to make your wedding invitations, to make thank you cards for your kids' teachers. You can do a variety of things with one machine. You know, I go on and on about having clutter with all my DIY supplies. I only need the Cricut Explore Air 2 now, and I absolutely love that. It even has storage compartments in the actual machine, so it makes it super easy, and I actually can connect it via Bluetooth, so I don't have to worry about having tons of cords out. It connects right to my desktop, it connects right to my phone, and I am good to go. And again, the capabilities of the Cricut Explore Air 2 are phenomenal. They are out of this world because you can score, you can write, you can cut, you can do all of these different capabilities with one machine. You just use your computer or your phone to pretty much tell it what to do. Cricut not only sent me the Cricut Explore Air 2, but they also sent me the Easy Press 2. And it is a really cool machine because it uses heat to transfer patterns and stuff onto clothing, onto bags, onto coasters, onto literally anything you can think of. And I actually use my Easy Press 2 to monogram some towels in our home. We're always trying to make our entire home look uniform and really refined. So what we did is we added our family initials onto these towels, and I think it looks so nice and cute. It's a little reminder of whose home you're in and that we're just like a big happy family when you come in. And I'm so happy that I could create it at home with my family. I'm telling you, you can do such fun projects, and I absolutely love these products. I'm telling you, I'm going to turn into a Cricut channel after this. If you're interested in getting the Cricut Explore Air 2 or the Cricut Easy Press 2, just click the link down below in my description box. I promise you it's something that you're not going to regret. It is so easy to use. They have tons of tutorials online, and it just helps your life get in order. The next way to instantly make your home look luxurious is to establish a design style and carry it throughout your home. I've been in so many homes that have so many unique rooms that look really phenomenal on their own. Maybe they'll have a Finding Nemo room, they'll have a Nantucket room, they'll have a Paris-inspired room. They'll have all these little rooms that on their own look amazing, but as a unit, it just doesn't work. You're like, what is their design style? What do they like? You kind of feel disjointed and like you're in a different place in every room you occupy. But what you need to do in a luxurious looking home is to have flow, to have a consistent design style throughout your home. So Kiva, does that mean that every room has to look the same? Of course not. I do not want every room to look the same. We're not copy and pasting. We don't want that at all. But what we do want is we want to craft rooms that have the same patterns and textures and things like that. So if you have a color scheme, for example, my home is black, white, and gold. You guys know this. So I have a lot of black and white in the living room, and I have a lot of black and white in the guest room, and a lot of black and white in the bedroom. But they're all different textures, they're all different patterns, and I use different amounts of those different colors in each room. For example, the living room has a lot of white because it is the room that gets the most amount of light. So it's very white. We have the white upholstered chairs at the dining table. We have the white sofas. We're going to have all white walls soon. Stay tuned for that. So there is a ton of white, and we've incorporated black predominantly via the dining table and then also via the throw pillows on the sofas. But in the bedroom, we have a very, very, very dark room. We have a black accent wall. We have a all white bed. So we've integrated the colors in different ways. We have black lighting in there. We're keeping the same colors, but we're integrating them differently so that each room looks different. You don't want it to be completely identical. That's exactly what we don't want to do. Another way people do this is to have maybe uniformity in terms of their art or in terms of a metal. So for example, maybe in one room I want to have like a nice brass and marble coffee table, and that's what I kind of establish in that room. And the next room, I'm not also going to have a marble and brass coffee table, but maybe my art will be framed in a brass frame. So I'm carrying that metallic texture into another room. I'm establishing a theme. I'm keeping that color, but it still looks different. I'm using the same materials, the same textures, the same colors in a different way. It kind of just creates some nuance, which is exactly what we want. And you can always integrate new colors, but still have reminders of those other features. Again, back to my Bellagio hotel video. In that video, you saw they had all those features of water, and water was displayed in different ways. We had water via the water right outside the window. We had a watercolor portrait that had absolutely no blue or green in it at all. It was just about the texture because it was similar to water. Then we had one painting that was so Art Deco, it had the blue and green, but we just had the squares, but we were reminded of water again because of the colors. You're integrating the same thing, but in so many different ways. It establishes flow and it establishes a design style. So it makes your home look cohesive, which every luxury home has in common, and then it instantly looks luxurious. So what you can do, if you have a room that you really love in your space and you really want the entire rest of the home to be inspired by that room, say maybe you have black throw pillows out here and then you also have a black rug and black something else, and there's so much black out here and you want to introduce black somewhere else. Maybe take those throw pillows and put them in the bedroom instead, or put them in the entryway, or get some artwork and frame it out in black. Just carry those same colors somewhere else. If you have a boucle accent chair in your living room, maybe add a boucle throw blanket to the end of your bed. Just carry the same textures and colors and patterns, and I'm telling you, your house is going to flow so much more and it's going to look so much more luxurious. The next way to instantly make your home look luxurious is to emphasize the natural light. So we already talked about chandeliers, we've already talked about artificial light, but let's talk natural light. Natural light is so important because it's kind of what powers your entire house during the daytime. It allows all of the beautiful light to pour onto your artwork and your beautifully curated space. But sometimes people downplay them. They get really dark drapes, they have their drapes always closed. You just aren't accentuating the natural light and you're making your house look dark and small and grim, and that's the exact opposite of what we want. Because luxurious looking homes, they're always big, they're always light and airy, and we want to maximize that feeling in our home even if we don't live in, a 20,000 square foot mansion, because most of us don't, right? So the way we do that is we actually get window treatments that enhance our windows, that draw attention to our windows. So that always means getting drapes that extend outward from the window frame to make it look nice and large. You hang your curtains really nice and tall so that the window looks very nice and tall. The ceiling looks super high. You want to elongate and widen the window. Another way to do this is to add lighter colored drapes. So in some rooms, if your room is massive, of course you can add the dark, funky, fun drapes. You can definitely do that. But when we're trying to accentuate the natural light and draw attention to it, we want to do something that's light and airy and makes that entire wall look like it perhaps could be a window. So that's why I want you to opt for the linen, the white, the off-white, the flax, the colors that are very natural and earthy, and again, light and airy. You'll hear me use that phrase over and over again because that is a phrase I want to stick with you. Not only do we want to emphasize that natural light, we also want to compensate for the lack of natural lighting. So how do we do that? Well, we've already talked about chandeliers, but we do want to add those different types of lighting for when the sun goes down. So we've added those curtains for when the sun is up to draw attention to that. But when the sun goes down, we want to add task lighting or reading light. So you're sitting at your sofa, you're reading something, you're doing some work, you want to have a light for that. You also want to have overhead lighting because that light will illuminate an entire space. It won't give you particular spotlights, but you can still actually maneuver yourself through a space, and your safety and your ability to actually walk through a space is very, very important. Another type of lighting you want to have, again, is the statement lighting because it carries your design style. All the other lighting is more so practical, but you want to have lighting that actually shows, hey, I am a contemporary design lover. Oh, I am a farmhouse lover, and this is how I am portraying that to you. You also want to have functional lighting. So let's talk about the kitchen. You want to have under cabinet lighting that allows you to see you chopping your carrots or your other veggies when you're doing something in the kitchen. You want lighting that lights your different cabinets if that's something that you'd like to do to make it so that you can more easily access your food items. You can even light your bookcases so it can illuminate all of those vessels and all of those books you spent time finding and investing in. You want to draw attention to those. Light draws attention to things, but it also illuminates things baselines. Light has two different purposes, and we need to be cognizant of both purposes and, really tailor our design process to it. Now, this next tip is going to be a little controversial, but I'm ready to talk to you about it. The next way to instantly make your home look luxurious is to leave one room, if you have one room available, looking staged. So I don't mean all the time, I don't mean you can't sit in it, but a lot of people have a family room and a living room, or they have a sitting room, and it's the room in the front of the house that no one really knows what to do with. It kind of becomes a catch-all space for a lot of people. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. We're all human. We all throw our junk somewhere. I'm the first one to admit that I do it, right? So we have the sitting room that no one uses. What can we do with that space? Well, when we look at luxury homes, they always have a front room that is always staged. It always looks manicured, right? So that's the room where we have our beautiful chandelier, our bookcases. It's the room that looks like the restoration hardware showroom. And it's a room that we all want. And if we have the luxury of having that extra space, let's use it as such. Same thing goes if you have like a dining room. That could be your stage room because a lot of people actually don't eat in their dining room. They eat on the kitchen island or on the sofa in front of the TV or in the kitchenette. So leave one room staged and let that be the room that really speaks volumes for your design style. So if you're into the contemporary look, have your task lights in there and your white chairs and all of the furniture that is impractical for your family, but I know you already bought. I'm not telling you to go out and buy these things, but I know that you've already bought them. Put those things in that room and have that room always look manicured. It's at the front of the house. It kind of shows that you have your stuff together. It really establishes a great tone for when someone enters your home, but then you still have the family room or a living room that still looks high-end. It still looks nice. It still represents your design style, but it's one that you can live in. So maybe instead of having a white sofa in your family room, you'll have a dark gray sofa or your sofa with a performance fabric or something like that. But then you'll have the front room that's really nice and manicured. And of course, the design styles will be similar. We'll still establish that flow. We'll still have the same colors and textures and patterns, but this room will be a little bit more relaxed. It won't be always manicured, and it will be kind of tailored in a way that doesn't require that manicuring. So it won't have as much of defined detail, but that's okay. Having a room like this really just sets a really nice note for when you enter a space. And if you're watching this video, it means that you do somewhat care about what people think. I know that I do, right? I love interior design. So my whole job is about making things look nice and thinking about how people feel when they come into a room. So if you don't care about that, I totally understand that. But that's kind of what you're here for. So that's my 2 cents on that. I really encourage you to do that because it'll make your life so much easier because you'll no longer have to maintain a room that you actually spend time in. You can leave your family room as messy as you want to, but the front room, the room that everyone sees when they come over for the dinner party or something like that, that will always look nice and you never have to think twice about it. The next way to instantly make your home look luxurious is to install a backsplash in your kitchen. So a lot of contractor grade homes these days don't have backsplashes. They just don't install them when they're building your home. So you get this beautiful, nice new build, but the second you cook, you want to make some pancakes or do a stir fry or really make anything, you got a grease splotch on your wall. So you're like, excuse me, I just paid, $200,000 or $400,000 for this brand new house, and you're telling me that it's already ruined because I'm not Chef Ramsay. You're more like Chef Boyardee. But add a backsplash. Backsplashes add such a decorative touch and they're so functional. So when you add in a backsplash, all that grease and water and all that stuff that kind of gets like splurted around, is that a word? Spurted around while you're cooking can easily be wiped off now. You don't have to worry about messing up the paint. tracking down your contractor to get the exact paint just for it to be the wrong paint sheen. I'm not talking about anyone, but I'm talking about myself. It was just like a hassle. So instead of having to do that, just install a backsplash. People are saying that subway tile is out. They're wrong. Basic subway tile will never be out. So add a subway tile, add a more sophisticated tile, do really whatever you want, but it will make your kitchen actually easier to live in, and it will add another design touch. And again, luxury homes are all about those fine details. So to make it uniform, just add those backsplashes in there. They're really easy to do. And actually, if you're not getting marble or something like that, these tiles are really cheap. They can be 46 cents, 56 cents, 98 cents. Any more than that is a little steep for me. But you can do it really easily, and they're actually something that you can install by yourself really well. That was my first DIY project ever. I've had no problems with it. It's super easy to do, and I promise you it's going to make your space look so much more refined because it'll just show that you gave a little bit more thought, and plus it's going to make cleanup in your kitchen after you're done cooking so much easier. The last way to instantly make your home look luxurious is to establish contrast between your walls and your trim. So what does that mean, Kiva? So something that has become really popular recently is painting your walls and your trim the same color. And if you're into contemporary design, keep doing that. Hear me now, if you are a contemporary design person, if you're into the restoration hardware modern look, if you're into the CB2 look, keep doing that because it works for your design style. It's all about the cold and the sterile. There's that. But if you're into something a little bit more traditional, or really any other design style, you want to establish that contrast. So how do we do that? That means that you are going to paint your walls a darker color than what you're going to paint your trim. And we're going to do that for a variety of reasons. One, it's going to add contrast. It's going to establish visual interest. So if you don't have the money to add in the crown molding or really intricate molding, just painting your baseboards or really simple baseboards a different color, it's going to establish contrast, and you're going to be like, oh, they have something that's very distinct from their walls. It's very interesting. You want to give people something to look at. Again, that's what luxury homes are about. They're curated like museums almost. You're looking at the different facets of something and see why it works together. The main reason though to do it is it makes your home look larger. So when we want a luxurious looking home, we want our homes to be larger. Again, that's not something I came up with. That is just the fact, right? Big homes are more expensive, therefore they're associated with luxury. So when you paint the trim a lighter color than your walls, it makes the floor feel larger. So when everything is one color or when something is a very dark color, the space feels small, right? So if we add a little pops of brightness to the floor and to the walls, it will brighten the space. It makes the space feel larger and therefore it feels more grand. So if you're dealing with a smaller space, instead of having it all be flat, just add those colors down at the bottom and it's going to make your ceiling feel a lot longer. Plus, it just shows that you've put in a little bit extra thought and therefore it just screams luxury, and we love that. Okay guys, that's it for today's video. Those were 7 interior design tips on how to instantly make your home look luxurious. I'm telling you, most of these tips are tips you can do really easily. You can go out and get an affordable can of paint, or you could buy something affordable on any of those websites, and you can get your home looking a lot elevated super easily. And a lot of these things you can accomplish by just looking around your own house and using the tools you already have. If you liked today's video, please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and check me out on Instagram. And if you are interested in picking up the Cricut Easy Press 2 or the Cricut Explore Air 2, smash the link down below in the description box. I promise you it is going to be one of your best purchases. I'm just Cricuting all day long now. Until next time, have a beautiful day.